Writer, producer, and director Tim Burton makes no secret of his childhood as an outcast. In fact, his experiences inspired him to create odd yet lovable characters. These characters are often a reflection of himself and his view of the weird and sometimes obnoxious world around him. Burton uses both the presence and absence of color to articulate the story he is trying to tell. In Edward Scissorhands, a 1990 film about self-discovery, color is used as a tool to show the difference of two worlds. The story is about an unfinished, artificial man named Edward. The loving inventor who created Edward died before completing him, and he was left with scissors for hands. Despite his handicap, Edward adapted well to living on his own in the quiet and simple environment in a dark mansion on a hill high above the town. One day, Peggy, an Avon representative, discovers he is living all alone, and she convinces him to come live with her and her family. Over time, he finds fame and love, but also rejection in the heart of suburbia. His inability to adapt to his new environment and the shallow minds of his community members ultimately lead to his isolation. Sadly, he must remain an outsider looking in as he once was. In the opening scene, there's a clear distinction between Edward's world and the surrounding neighborhood, which was inspired by Burton's childhood neighborhood in Burbank, California. Burton makes it clear that this environment is toxic for Edward through the use of bright-colored schemes and patterns juxtaposed with the lack of color in Edward's world. We see this in the exteriors of the homes and within the characters' apparel. Color is also used to show a transition in emotion, as we see this with Winona Ryder's character, Kim. At first, she is dressed in bright-colored clothing like everyone else, but as she begins to fall out of love with her boyfriend Jim and in love with Edward, we see her clothing change from bold colors to an all-white dress. Burton often includes an innocent blonde figure in white clothing within his films to represent purity and goodness. He continues to use white to display emotion, as we see in the closing scene where Kim, now an elderly woman, is explaining to her granddaughter that Edward must still be up there because it never snowed before he came there, and now it always does. She says, "Sometimes you'll find me dancing in it." Her granddaughter asks why she doesn't go up there, and she says she would rather that he remember her the way she was. The final scene is a flashback of her dancing in the snow. As with the white dress, the white snow is used throughout the film to create an atmosphere of purity, tranquility, and romance. Tim Burton successfully illustrates a story about self-discovery and isolation much like his own through the use of color as well as the absence of it.